This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. A chemical attack in Syria kills dozens, including children. A rare pink diamond sells for $71 million in Hong Kong. The Dodgers are swinging in their first post-Vince Scully season with the 14-3 lead against the San Diego Padres.
Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Max Goen.
And I'm Kealani.
Dozens of people are dead in a chemical airstrike attack in the Syrian city of Idlib. At least 10 of the victims killed are children. Hospitals are flooded with hundreds of wounded people as one doctor says the victims show signs of asphyxiation, which could be the result of the chemical sarin. Senator John McCain says President Trump should warn Syrian President Bashar al-Assad that this attack will not be tolerated.
Not sit by and watch chemical weapons being used to slaughter innocent women and children.
The substance of the chemical has not been identified, and it is not confirmed if the planes involved were Syrian.
California State Assembly is voting on Senate Bill 54, also known as the Sanctuary State Bill. The bill, passed in the Senate 27-12, stops law enforcement agencies from using their resources to help federal immigration authorities. The law would allow law enforcement to turn undocumented immigrants over only if they have been charged with a violent felony or if there is a warrant against them. Those who oppose the bill point out these felonies do not include human trafficking, child abuse, or assault with a deadly weapon. If it passes in the Assembly, the bill will go to Democratic Governor Brown.
Senate Democrats have voted to delay the nomination of Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch. Democrats are trying hard to continue the delay because many believe they are not ready to make the final decision. Democratic Senator Chris Coons explains the party's concerns.
We are ready to stop debate and to move to a final vote. I said in the Judiciary Committee yesterday that I intend to vote against cloture because I don't think we are yet ready to close debate.
Because a supermajority decision of 60 votes for Judge Gorsuch will probably not be reached, the Republicans are trying to change the rules from needing a supermajority ruling to a simple majority ruling.
The death toll in the Russian subway bombing has risen to 14. A suicide bomber in St. Petersburg carried out the attack Monday, including over 50 people. Passengers could be seen climbing and crawling out of the train as debris is scattered everywhere. The suicide bomber has been identified as a 22-year-old from Kyrgyzstan that obtained Russian citizenship. It is not known whether he worked alone or with an extremist group at the time. Authorities in St. Petersburg have declared 3 days of mourning.
A diamond has been sold at a Hong Kong auction for a record $71.2 million. The jewel, known as the Pink Star, is the largest polished diamond to be sold. This is not the first time, however, the jewel has been gone up for sale. The Pink Star was previously sold in a 2013 Geneva, Switzerland. The diamond was first presented to the public in 2003 in an exhibit at the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History.
Governor Brown is joining state representatives in Riverside today to rally for a gas tax increase. The Road Repair Accountability Act of 2017 proposes to increase diesel sale taxes and vehicle license fees. The increase is projected to bring more than $5.2 billion in revenue. Money earned from the increase could be used across the state to repair roads. The bill might be voted on as early as Brown's birthday this Thursday and requires a 2/3 majority to pass.
The cause of a fire in South LA remains under investigation. The fire broke out yesterday late afternoon at a food processing plant for Preparation Foods. The 75,000 square foot facility is located on South Compton Avenue. It took more than 3 hours to contain the fire as a gas line in the ceiling helped drive the blaze and complicate the efforts for more than 170 firefighters. All staffers were evacuated before the fire spread and no one was hurt.
Federal authorities are raiding a casino in Bell Gardens as part of an ongoing investigation. The reason for the raid at the Bicycle Hotel and Casino is unclear. A spokesperson for the U.S. Immigration and Customs says they cannot comment on the scope or nature of the investigation, but this is not the first time the casino has had issues with authorities. In 1991, the government took partial ownership after a jury found that more than half of the money used to build the casino came from Florida drug dealers. The property is now privately owned.
Now, let's go to Tephanie Martinez with the latest on sports.
Thank
Tephanie?
you, Max. The Los Angeles Dodgers remain undefeated on opening day against the San Diego Padres. Clayton Kershaw delivered 7 innings, allowing 2 hits. Center fielder Jock Peterson hits a grand slam, making it the first time done since Eric Harrell's in 2000. Catcher Yasmani Grandal hits 2 homers from both sides of the plate. Dodgers ended the game winning 14-3 against the Padres. Game 2 will be tonight at the Travis Ravine with Kenta Maeda on the mound. CSUN students say they were excited about the new season. Matador news reporter Adam Hajost is in the newsroom with more on their reaction.
CSUN students say they are happy about the Dodgers' victory yesterday and are excited for the season.
It was a good game. Kershaw looked good. Yasiel was looking good too. Puig, finally stepping up, so it was good to see. Hopefully they do well in the postseason. Hopefully they'll get past the second round. I think I've heard the odds are pretty good, so I'm pretty confident Dodgers will get into the postseason and past the second round. So here's hoping.
It really shows where the Dodgers are going to stand this season. Seeing that last year we lost the World Series in the second round. Maybe this year we could take it all the way.
Not surprised, but impressed with the performance yesterday. We put a beat down on them last year to start off the season, so it's good to see them aggressive and strong to start off this season.
Well, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did hear that they won, so I feel like that's a good start to the season.
I'm hoping that, they make it all the way. I can't say I've been a very, great fan, but I'm always trying to watch whenever I can, go to a game whenever I can, and I'm just hoping for the best for them.
Clayton Kershaw is also perfect on opening day with the 7-0 record. Kenta Maeda will get the nod for the Dodgers in the second game of a 4-game series against the Padres tonight. Now back to Tephanie for more with sports.
Dallas Cowboys have officially released former quarterback Tony Romo. Romo says he'll leave the NFL to begin a career in broadcasting, replacing CBS sports commentator Phil Simmons. His decision came down to his health. For the past 2 seasons, Romo suffered with collarbone and back injuries. The Cowboys now gain $14 million in cap space that wouldn't be available until June. Now let's go to Gianella Ghiglino for the latest on business.
Student loans are higher than ever. Federal Bank of New York researchers say recent college graduates who borrow money are leaving school with an average of $34,000 in student loans. A decade ago, students were graduating with a $20,000 debt in student loans. Despite the spike in loans, going to college, even if you don't graduate, still increases your chance of owning a home compared to those who never enroll. Trump says he will spend $1 trillion or more on infrastructure. He says his administration would remove building regulations and make it more simple to build.
I've spent my life working side by side with American builders, and now you have a builder as your president.
Regulations are about making structures seismically resistant and accessible to disabled people. Now let's go back to Tephanie to see what's new in health.
Most kids who died from the flu were not vaccinated. Researchers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention investigated the deaths of hundreds of children who died from the flu between 2010 and 2014. 75% of those kids had not received flu shots. The study found that vaccinations reduce the chance of death in children by 65%. That falls to 51% in kids considered high risk because of their asthma and other conditions. A patient's DNA could be used to determine how to treat their depression. The Australian Genetics of Depression study is working to identify genes that make it more likely for people to experience depression. Currently, many patients are prescribed standard antidepressants, but if that medication doesn't work, patients have to experiment with different ones until they find one that does. The study's researchers are using genetics testing to try to identify which drugs will work for which patients. They hope this will lead to the creation of a more focused treatment plan for patients. Now let's go back to Gianella for more on entertainment.
Harrison Ford will not face any restriction on his pilot license by the Federal Aviation Administration. This after landing on a taxiway instead of a runway at John Wayne Airport in February.
Aviation's been very important to to the history of this country, and I'd like to see it continue to have the support that it.
Ford was also in a plane crash in 2015 when he landed on a Santa Monica golf course and broke his arm. The legal troubles continue for Fox News. A third African-American woman has joined a lawsuit against the news network that alleges the women were subjected to racial harassment in the payroll department for years. Monica Douglas also alleges she was made fun of for being a breast cancer survivor. That lawsuit was filed a few days before the New York Times reported that Fox has already paid $13 million to settle sexual harassment cases against the network's most popular host, Bill O'Reilly. Lawyer Lisa Bloom says there's a culture of sexism at Fox.
You called Fox News, quote, the Bill Cosby of corporate America. What do you mean by that?
Well, there are dozens and dozens of women who accuse Bill Cosby of sexual assault. There are dozens and dozens of women, according to published reports, who have accused Fox News people of sexual harassment. Roger Ailes, Bill O'Reilly, other executives, and yet it never goes anywhere. It never changes anything.
Former Fox News employee Andrea Tontaros is suing Roger Ailes for sexual harassment. Ailes resigned last year as Fox News chairman after an internal investigation. Fox is currently under a federal probe for allegedly hiding sexual harassment settlements from its investors. Now let's go back to Max for more in news.
Today is Equal Pay Day, so let's go to the newsroom with Matador News reporter Cammeron Parrish for more of the story.
Thanks, Max. And yes, today is Equal Pay Day across the country. Today is April 4th, and this symbolizes the day when women workers catch up to what male workers earned in 2016. Women would have to work an extra 94 days every year in order to make what a man earns in 1 year. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, women make 79 cents for every dollar a man earns, the smallest gap since 1960. Women's Research and Resource Center representative Jacquline Syers says it has been a long journey.
I think it's completely overdue. I don't know why we don't have Equal Pay Day already. I think it's a shame that we still have to fight for it, but it's important. I think that it's important that we have our little booth and make students aware about Equal Pay Day, because I know a lot of people don't even know that it's not just about gender, but it's also about race.
Studies show men earn more even while working in women-dominated areas. Student achievement coach for the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, Cindy Greco, says equal pay is necessary.
Well, I think if you pay people equally, then you're valuing their time and their effort and their expertise equally, which is important for society, for us to value women and men the same.
Although this day is being recognized throughout the country, there is still work to be done. Back to you in the studio.
Goodbye, and thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Tephanie Martinez.
I'm Gianella Ghiglino.
I'm Max Goen.
And I'm Kaylee Kealani.